Close Contact by Hannah Spring. I can only relate to my own experiences that I had with unknown gray entities that I know of, and cannot relate to anyone else who had gone through the same experiences that I have had. But some could be similar. But it is up to those who went through this type of close contact to tell their own story. During my life, I had seen a few unknown crafts. The first was when I was 7 years old, and it has not stopped. But the most interesting part was, in regards to the unknown sightings, were the close contact that they had with me over the years. But in this vlog, I will only go into the close contact that I had with these unknown beings that I was aware of that had occurred. Tasmania, the 4th of October 1978, time of contact was around 22:30 hours. Location was on top of Henty Hill between the towns of Zeehan and Queenstown. I had been visiting friends in Queenstown before I left, and started to head back to Tula, where I was working for the hydro company on their Pieman hydro site. The night sky was still and dark, but full of stars, no moon. I went around a left-hand bend and saw a bright light with a pulsating light on top of it. I remembered that it was not there on my way to Queenstown, but it was there now. I actually thought it was a drill rig doing tests for a future dam site for the hydro company, as the hydro was looking at putting a hydro dam on the Henty and possibly the Yolande rivers. As I began to slow down and pull off to the left, I noticed that there were no one around it, and as I stopped, I realized that it was no drill rig, and the only lights I could see was the pulsating amber light on top, and a very bright light in a doorway that never shone out past the entrance. Then the fear got me. I flattened the accelerator as the interior light came on. Someone or something was opening my door, so I pushed the lock button down on my door. Then it popped up again as my interior light came back on, and my driver's side door opened up. Before I could see who opened my door, everything went black. I came out of the blackness as my car door closed, still with the food flat on the accelerator, and spun the rear tires and sped off. I thought I escaped whatever was going to grab me. The time that I roughly pulled up was about 22:30 hours, and when I got back to my accommodation I checked the time and it was showing 130 hours. I should have been back there at roughly around 23:15 hours. I had time missing that I cannot explain, except for what I saw, and at that time as I went to bed, I could not feel anything. But around 608 hours, I woke up to a hot burning sensation coming from my right side groin area, for which I noticed a reddish-brown mark, to where I had to grab my hand mirror to get a better look at that mark. It was oval in appearance like an egg, and at that point I started to feel a bit nauseous and took the day off. In case, the mark on my groin did eventually disappeared in 2005. Queensland, Rubyvale, 19th of December, 2021, I had been working on my family tree when all of a sudden I was getting very sleepy around 21:58 hours, for which it was very unusual for me, as I suffer from insomnia, hard to get to sleep. I just barely had enough time to shut down my computer and turn the TV off, including the lights, and get onto the bed. I do not remember covering myself, as I went straight to sleep. But somewhere between 01 hours and 05:30 hours, I was woken up to a burning sting sensation. And as I felt that, I thought to myself, who the hell is holding my left arm? As I started to open my eyes to see who it was, I remembered nothing else until I woke up around 07:30, still with the thoughts of what happened during the night. I firstly looked around to see if anyone was still there, but saw no one. Then I looked at my lower arm to where I saw 6 dots, red in color, in the shape of a triangle with no sign of blood. Those 6 dots were gone by midday. When that was all occurring, I was also packing up my things, and relocating to a place that I will keep secret for the time being. But after relocating by the 21st of December, I thought I was clear. But nope. They gave me another visit in January 2022, but this time they did not wake me up. But the following morning, when I woke up, I noticed a weird mark, or impression on my left arm, just up a little from where I had that triangle with the 6 dots were. But this impression looked like a back-to-front D, with no hollow in the D, and something that looked like a sickle, to which disappeared really quick. I am now very aware that they, meaning the Greys, are still about, as the past 3 years I had actually seen a 5-feet-high gray alien at times. And I do mean eye contact. But it was that quick that every time that occurred, they were no longer there. But one time I did have eye contact with one. I went straight out my front door just in time to see a very dark triangle craft, with 3 very dim white lights, move to my south, then turn towards the west, before I lost sight of the 3 dim lights. I only had eyes on it for less than a second, around 2 seconds including looking at the Gray Alien, 2023. In October 2025, I had just woken up from having a midday sleep to where I heard a noise coming from the living room. I got up to inspect the noise. As I looked from my bedroom area, I saw a 5'8" tall gray alien. He or she looked surprised and gone in a blink of an eye. I have no idea as to why they are doing these things to me, or why they are visiting me at rare times, but I do have medical problems, and at some times I was nearly knocking on the next life's doorway. But I keep on getting better. Why? Are they, the aliens, keeping me alive for some strange reason? I have no idea, as they will not tell me why they are doing things to me. All I can say is I regard them as my gray angels, but I do wish that they go and find a new hobby to play with, and just let me go if they cannot tell me why. Thank you for listening.